Hey, Teddy K here for the Best Buy blog, and in this video review, we take a look at the Google Pixel Watch, Google's first actual smartwatch that they've ever made that runs on Wear OS and works with almost any Android device. When I first saw the Pixel Watch, I actually liked what I saw, and I felt that it was quite comfortable even when I first put it on. There is, I don't know, maybe it's the rounded display, I'm not sure, but it is a nice looking watch, and a lot of people that I showed it to did appreciate it as well, even those who wore an Apple Watch, which is interesting. One thing though, there's a couple things that stand out, first of all, that I should point out. First of all, the glass, so the screen is protected by Gorilla Glass 5, not Sapphire. Sapphire is stronger, and I felt like, given how exposed the glass is on here, unlike other smartwatches, there's no bezel, there's nothing that is protecting the periphery. And so I wondered if I bumped into things over time, what might happen to the screen. So far, so good, but long term, it's very hard for me to tell how long the screen will be able to stay intact if it's exposed this way and doesn't have the hardened protection. Now, that doesn't mean that it's super fragile, so don't worry. I mean, the watch can handle some things. It's got the 5 ATM water resistance, so you can go into water, swim with it, it's fine. It doesn't have dust resistance, so there's no IP rating. That's why I was a little weary if I'd be around sand, for example, or anything like that. But give it a good rinse when you're in water or sand, and you should be okay. The digital crown on the side, so there's a crown on the side, and then you also have a button as well. So the button is a shortcut to get you to your apps, and then the crown is essentially like a back button or a home button. And you can also swipe, of course, because being a touchscreen, you can just swipe and navigate the interface. The watch comes in only one size. It's 41 millimeters and only in the silicone strap that you see here. There's a new mechanism for the strap to take it off, or to swap straps. Now, I didn't have any other straps to try out. There is a bit of a learning curve in swapping it out, though, and it will take at least a few attempts to feel like you get the hang of it. Even at this point of this review, I don't know that I fully have gotten the hang of it, but once you do, like, it feels pretty. I know I'm going to get there because I'm getting better at it each time. As for what's underneath, there are 2 processors that are running this watch, and the key part of that equation is Wear OS. That's what you're going to be seeing. That's what you're going to be interfacing with. And for the most part, I mean, it looks nice. It's a pretty interface, fairly easy to navigate as well. It just feels pretty seamless, especially when you already know your way around. The thing about it, though, is that there's a couple things to keep in mind. One is that when it comes to health and fitness and activity tracking, all that stuff, that actually runs through the Fitbit app by default, not Google Fit. You can make Google Fit work, but Fitbit is actually where everything happens. So you can track up to 40 exercises with this. You will have to manually start and stop them. There's no automatic tracking here, so if you start moving or you start exercising, you start a workout, it's not going to know that you're doing that. It will track your general activity, but it's not going to know exactly what it is you're doing. That's where you go into the app. Basically, you go into the exercises, you choose the one that you're going to be doing, you start it, and then you stop when you're done. And that way it'll be logged in the app, right? So just like any other smartwatch, but here you have to be a little more vigilant just to make sure that you do it each time. I know I forgot many times while I was doing it, exercising, and unfortunately, there was just showed up as general exercise. I mentioned the Fitbit connection already, and I should tell you that applies also to exercise routines. So active zone minutes, for example, so those Fitbit features that we've seen on devices like the Sense and Versa do apply here too, especially like the active zone minutes, for example, and also the way that the metrics are measured and collected in the Fitbit app. There's not a ton of sensory technology here. There's a heart rate monitor. It works fine, pretty accurate as well. There is an SpO2 sensor to measure blood oxygen, but as of this review, it is dormant. It does not work. It does not do anything. That could change at some point, but Google has not really said anything about that. There is no skin temperature sensor like other smartwatches have, so there's nothing like that. You can do an ECG, technically. Fitbit has an ECG app that does work with the Pixel Watch. So I could not get it to work, unfortunately, as of this review. It was by no lack of trying. I tried a lot of different workarounds, and I even got in touch with Google about it just to see what I could do, and unfortunately did not get anything that made it work, at least as of this review. Hopefully you have, and if you have, by all means leave a comment below, and be curious to hear what you have to say about that. So there are some features already there, some potential features that may be coming. It's hard to say, but for now, the watch is, as I kind of described, I think it is a general watch that does a lot of things generally. Like, for example, when it comes to how it integrates with Android, this part is very good because it really integrates very well. Whether it's a Pixel phone or any other manufacturer that makes an Android phone, it's going to do the same things. So notifications come in, they come in really well. Not all of them are actionable, of course, but if you want to take a phone call, you can. If you want to respond to a message, you can do that too. If you want to pay for things through the watch, you can certainly do that through Google Pay. If you want to talk to Google Assistant, that's not a problem. You want to look up Google Maps, see where you're going, navigate yourself. All that is possible. All of that works pretty fluidly on this watch. So those are very good things. App support, it continues to improve. Spotify is one of my favorites. It's on here. Various other ones are. A bunch of them are not. You can browse some apps through the watch itself, but you'll actually probably be better off doing that through the phone. So the phone that's paired with this, you'll be able to browse apps that are specific to Wear OS or the Google Pixel Watch from there in a sort of an area that's separate from the rest of the Google Play Store. It's very cool and very easy to navigate and find out what could work for you. Battery life is measured up to 24 hours per charge. That is mostly accurate. It does depend on what you're doing with it. There is an eSIM that's built in here, so if you want the watch to act on its own, apart and independent of your phone, you can set that up. But if you're constantly exercising or you're using the watch for a lot of different things all the time, it is going to drain the battery, especially if you leave the always display on. It's not going to last 24 hours, not even going to be close to that. So usage ultimately determines how long it lasts. I would say you're looking at probably 16 to 24 hours depending on usage, but ultimately though you're going to be charging this every night. It's that simple. So keep the charger for this pretty close, and if you want to sleep with it, make sure that you charge it before you go to bed, so that way it'll track your sleep. Sleep tracking is all right. Again, it follows the Fitbit model, so I found that things were quite accurate in the tracking and the data that I saw. No surprises there either. And it was comfortable to wear too, which is kind of important. Well, no more than kind of important. It was very important. So if you're not sure about wearing something to bed, you're not used to it, or you have had bad experiences in the past with other devices, I don't know for sure that this will be better for you. I know for me, I felt quite comfortable wearing it, and at times forgot I even was wearing it during the day, or especially after waking up and before checking what my sleep data was like. So a couple quick notes before I sign off here. If you are an iPhone user and you're thinking that this might be an alternative to the Apple Watch, it's not. They are not compatible, so that is not going to happen. Also, the watch faces. This is a nice thing here. There's a number of good ones. There's a number available. It's very easy to change and swap out watch faces for this watch. And something I recommend doing, just checking it out, especially after you set it up, see which one you like, and you can even save a couple and even modify them, change the colors, change some of the look a little bit to make them more personalized for you. So something that I think is nice. You do see that in other watches, but I really like the way it was laid out here, and appreciate the sort of the thought that Google put into it. But that's about it. I mean, other than that, the Pixel Watch, it's a nice debut for Google, who has never made a smartwatch before. It is hard to tell what the future of the Pixel Watch line is going to be, given that Google also owns Fitbit. But for now, if you're looking for something more general as opposed to a specialized smartwatch, and you want it to work well and seamlessly with your Android phone, this is not a bad way to go, but it is up against pretty stiff competition, so you really have to measure what it is you're looking for. Again, if you're like a fitness buff, you have other options. This is not the watch for you. If you're just somebody who wants some tracking, you want to track exercises, you want notifications, you just want a watch that's going to be an extension of your phone, you will enjoy a lot of the features that are in here. And that's my review of the Google Pixel Watch. For the Best Buy blog, I'm Teddy K. Thanks for watching.